Aloha, everyone. I hope you are all doing well. Dr. Matt James here. And yep, I still got the COVID beard going on. Not really sure what I'm going to do with it yet. Just hanging out. I'm here in Denver. I'm in Denver, Colorado, and I haven't been here for a while. Just absolutely beautiful place. It's been quite some time since I've been here, and I'm just really grateful. Just spending just a few moments today with just a whole bunch of gratitude of the fact that I get to continue teaching, that we as a company get to continue to move forward. You know, here in this hotel room, it may not seem like a big deal, but it's been a few months since we've been out there teaching. We just wrapped up our event in California. We were in Orange County this past weekend, and we ran an event there. We had a small group of people. Some of you may have actually been on there. Claudia, good to see you. Some of you may have actually been there at the event. Those of you watching it either live, watching it now live, or watching the recording of it. And it was a really grateful event, a grateful group of individuals. And I think we made a difference. I believe that these teachings make a difference in our lives and the lives of the people that I'm going to get to meet tomorrow. And I really do believe now more than ever, we truly do need some of these techniques. The things that are going on right now in the world, just unprecedented. I've never seen before. And David, thank you for asking. I'm doing really well. You know, I'm doing very well. The kids are safe. We as a company, we're moving forward and we're practicing what we teach. And that's the only thing that we can do. That's the absolute only thing that we're able to do, each of us. We're only able to focus on ourselves. And there's so much going out there in the world. Many of you have been students of mine. You know, I've been teaching for 22 years. Yvonne, so good to see you. Aloha to you too. You know, I've been teaching for 22 years now. This year has marked my 22nd year teaching and 28 years a part of this company, the Empowerment Partnership. Been in the field of personal growth and development for 38 years. I know you might be sitting there going, but he looks so young. I know, no. On film, I just look younger on camera. The gray hairs. I've been doing this for a while. I've never seen anything like this. And for those of you who have been with me for a while, who have been with me for a decade or more, you all know I tend to not make comments about things that are going on. Yes, I've posted videos on Facebook about COVID, and I avoided the political videos. I avoid the taking a side video. Just the videos that I posted, the purpose of those videos were to show you numbers, to show you stats from medical doctors, to help us to be educated, because that's what we need now more than ever. There's a social unrest that has occurred, and I don't usually speak up about this. And so I want you all to listen carefully. This message that I'm going to share is coming from my heart. And this message that I'm putting out there, which I rarely speak up about, is truly coming from my heart. And I want to give you some background on this information. Ho'oponopono, the Hawaiian forgiveness process, it saved my daughter's life. It absolutely saved my daughter's life. What she went through, losing her best friend to leukemia as a kid, losing someone that I think she was in kindergarten or first grade, it doesn't matter. At that age, you can't process that someone has died. And you know, any parent out there that has to face their child and share with them that someone has died at an age earlier than they're able to process it, it is gut-wrenching and it is heartbreaking, and it dropped me to my knees. It was probably one of the most difficult things that I have ever had to go through in my entire life. I've been through some pretty rough stuff, and saying to your daughter, your best friend, you're never going to see her again, and getting questions like, why did God take my best friend, Daddy? I know that Ho'oponopono saved her life, and I'm grateful that I got to study it. I'm grateful that to become a doctor, I researched forgiveness. And I want to bring up some things that are going on in our society right now. And I want to talk about the need for forgiveness. And I want to talk about the need for us to begin to be able to move forward. The injustices that have occurred, the things that have happened are horrific in so many different ways. And rather than addressing the specific details of it, looking at it from just an energetic and an emotional standpoint, it is natural for people to have an emotional response. I wept. I mean, I felt grief and sadness when sharing with my daughter. that her best friend passed away. When I lost my spiritual mentor, Uncle George, 11 years ago, I had an emotional response. When things occur, anger, sadness, fear, hurt, these are natural emotions that people experience. And that's a natural first wave of energy that occurs. It truly is. And then to begin to heal, to begin to truly bring things back together, which I believe in my core we need now more than ever. The practice of forgiveness is so vital and so critical. To become a doctor, I studied forgiveness, and I studied the specific process called Ho'oponopono, which I wrote a book about, which on our app is absolutely free. You can listen to it, it's free. We have put information out there that is free for all of you, because now more than ever, we truly do need this. One of the studies that I looked at, which I did not conduct, but I looked at it to become a doctor, had to do with what occurred in Rwanda. And what happened in Rwanda years ago was horrific. The genocide was unspeakable, what occurred, what villages did to each other, what individuals did. The word genocide means to wipe out another group of people, to completely eradicate them, killing children, and the things that they did to men, women, and it was just horrific on a scale that had not been seen. It made the world shudder. And for those of you who don't remember it, I do, because I was in school at the time. And what occurred shocked so many individuals. It shocked so many people. And so many things were tried in Rwanda to help heal things up. Talking therapy, there was no MER that was done there. There was no one on the scene to do that. But there were so many different approaches. And the one thing that began to create and facilitate healing was forgiveness. Not Ho'oponopono, but something very similar, an indigenous process. And here's the crazy part, and I looked at the research, and I looked at the grassroots effort that was occurring there, and I looked at all of the things that were happening, and it was unbelievable. The people that had been most deeply affected by the genocide, the tribes, the individuals, the families that had just lost people, that their children, their grandchildren, lost the ability to carry on the family name. The people that recovered the fastest and the most were the ones that were forgiving the people that had conducted the genocide. And it doesn't make any sense, right? It boggles your mind. It really boggles your mind, because another case study that I looked at to become a doctor was of a mother whose son was murdered. And she stood up in court and she looked at the person who had murdered her son. Irrefutable evidence, it clearly was this individual. And she stood up and she said, "I forgive you." She said, "I forgive you." And people couldn't comprehend it. She said, "I have to forgive you, and I have to be free of this, and I need to move forward." She instinctively knew that by having a level of forgiveness, she would be able to move forward, that she would be able to begin to heal, and that without the forgiveness, she would be stuck in that anger, in that sadness, in that fear. The people that are most deeply affected by things, I think they know at the deepest level of who they are that they have to forgive, that without forgiveness, you can't move forward. I appreciate that the first wave of any type of horrific experience is that of an emotional wave, an energy that can take us over, that can absolutely cause us to do things that we are fighting against, to act in such ways that we shouldn't be acting. And this is on all sides. What occurred, absolutely unacceptable, absolutely horrific. And the reaction to it, an emotional reaction. In the studies and the research that I conducted, you don't move forward until you are free from the baggage. As long as you live in the baggage, you run the potential of becoming the very thing that you're wanting to fight against. And I know that's hard for some people to hear. And maybe I don't have a right to say these things, and I have to. I need to put this message out there because the culture that I was raised in, the lineage that I teach from, in order to begin the healing process, you first have to heal yourself. And you have to achieve a level of what's called being pono. Pono means you're right. It doesn't mean what occurred is right. It doesn't mean what occurred should have occurred. It means that you are free of your baggage and you're asking yourself, how do we move forward? How do we move forward from this as a group of people to be able to begin to heal and to stop repeating these same stupid mistakes over and over again. It's the repeating of these things that is so frustrating. It's having seen this time and time again, being in this field for so long and seeing these injustices that occur in every way, shape, or form. And I sit there going, when are we going to learn from it? The learnings don't come in until the forgiveness has been achieved, until true forgiveness has been achieved. Until that point, you don't get the anno I. Anno is seed. You don't get that seed planted for how can we move forward on all sides together. There's a Hawaiian word called lokahi. Lokahi means to unite. It means to become united. And it was believed to be pono, that you needed to be lokahi. You needed to be lokahi inside, to be united inside, and to be able to move forward with another person, to be able to move forward with another group, to be able to just, and man, with everything that is going on, we have to begin to move forward on this planet. Never seen a planet shut down because of everything that's going on. And if we truly want to move forward, there has to be forgiveness. Forgiveness with how things have been handled. Forgiveness with how things weren't handled. I think we need to forgive each other. I think we need to forgive ourselves. And if we do that, if we truly begin to practice forgiveness, then we can become pono. And then we can take a step back and go, what do we need to do? What action do we need to take to make this world the world that we all want to live in? What action do we need to take so that we can begin to take one step at a time and move forward and begin to heal? It's what helped in Rwanda. It's what helped my daughter. It's what has helped the thousands of people, the tens of thousands of people that I have personally been able to teach. I have seen forgiveness open up the space for healing. And it was believed in the Hawaiian culture that you didn't make decisions on how to act or how to operate when there was still baggage present. When there was still baggage present, when you still had an emotional charge on something, any decision that you would make, any action that you would take was based on that baggage, and you would be doomed to repeat it over and over again. Using a more simplistic example, if you have ever gotten out of a relationship, if you have ever been done with a relationship and gotten out of it and said, I will never let anyone talk to me, treat me, or do that kind of shit again, and you're pissed about it, you take that energy and you put it into your path and you create it over and over and over again. And as you keep creating it, you keep going through the same experiences until you finally get it. Until you wake up one day and you realize that if you forgive and you take that ton of bricks that you're carrying and just put it down and be done with it, and you're pono, then you can begin to truly move forward and ask yourself, who do I want to be? What do I want to do? And how do I want to show up in this world? When you have no baggage, when you are pono, you are allowed to sit down with the person that you had the most incongruency with and truly look at them and say, thank you for the lessons. Thank you for the unknown I. And here's how we're going to move forward. And please remember as I begin to wrap this up, forgiveness doesn't make what occurred right. It makes you right with taking action. Forgiveness doesn't mean that you need to be friends with people who have wronged you. It's the biggest misconception. It does mean that you are free of the baggage and that you can put a boundary up and say, this kind of behavior does not work, period. And we will not accept it. We as individuals, as a society, will not accept it anymore. To do it though, from a place of being pono, of freedom from your baggage, truly allows you to move forward. As long as we are still angry, sad, fearful, hurt, that baggage goes into our actions. And that's why we keep repeating things. I appreciate you listening to this message. I appreciate you taking the time to hear it. And I've seen some of the posts and I've seen the gratitude. And, please forgive me if this pushes up against your boundaries. I think this needed to be said. And we stand by our word at our company, the Empowerment Partnership. You go to our online learning platform at empowermentsuccess.com. You go to the app, you just type in NLP, and our app shows up pretty high up on the list there for Android and iPhone. We have recordings of Ho'oponopono. We have recordings on there. You can listen to them. Ho'oponopono, my book, is available. You can read it. I think we need forgiveness right now so desperately to be able to move forward in so many different ways. And so take the opportunity to practice it. Take the opportunity to incorporate these learnings. And only thing that I ever ask my kids to do, and I'm humbly asking you to do it too, that before you ask someone else to do something, make sure you can look in the mirror and that you're doing it yourself and that you are practicing it yourself, because your ears are the closest to your mouth and you have to be the first one to listen to your own words. And when you do, you truly can become an agent of change and you can help other people begin to move forward and heal up. Thank you all so much. I do appreciate the time, and I look forward to seeing you all in the future. Take care. A hui hou.